Good morning. Today's all about diggers or excavators. We're standing on probably the highest part of our land here, and down there is the lowest part. And today, hopefully, we're going to link up those two areas. These are some very basic steps that I cut in. So you can see how steep this is, but I'm hoping that we can get a digger to come kind of through here and maybe round there. So once we're down those steps, we get onto this section here, and we should just be able to kind of hopefully carve around this way and then into the bush down there. I don't want to knock down any trees if we can help it. And the path doesn't have to be perfectly straight. I'm happy for it to kind of move around a bit just to avoid trees.
Last week's episode was about DIY, doing it yourself, being self-reliant. And this week, I've gone and hired a digger with a driver. But bear with me, this does make sense. If I was just digging a hole, I'd rent a digger and do it myself, but this is a job that requires real skill. This is not just about pulling a few levers. The operator needs to be able to visualize what will work and what won't. This will take real skill and real creativity.
This isn't great. The digger's just stuck in the bush. There's a lot of rain, and so all of that mud is like super kind of like just wet and messy, and you can't even get it out. And I also think that that trail that's been dug is actually is too steep. This is yet another one of those projects that you think, oh, why did I start this one? It hasn't improved things at all. It's quite a steep incline that's been taken, and it means that it's kind of useless for me. I wouldn't be able to, I could probably walk up it, but I wouldn't be able to push a wheelbarrow up it, so it's sort of a bit pointless. So this is what we've got so far. It just gets, this bit's not too bad, but just here you can tell it's going to get pretty steep. There's no way I'm going to be able to walk up that. And rain's coming. I'm trying to be sanguine about this. I think it was a tough job, that's the thing. It was a tricky job for the driver, and there's somebody else at that company who has got a lot more experience. And I spoke to him on the phone, and he seems pretty confident that he can deal with the situation. We need to take a little bit of the grade out of the slope. So it probably just needs a twist and a turn here, and hopefully this will become good.
I absolutely love this land, and right now it feels like I've put a massive tear through it. After a good night's sleep, I'm feeling better about this situation. I have a lot of admiration for people who have a craft. I feel craftsmanship exists somewhere between a worker, someone who's just following instructions, and an artist. It's like there's a scale. Too much artistry and you get, well, art, something that has no practical function. Too little artistry and you get the mundane. In the first instance, we had a path, like a roadway, cut through the land. On the surface, it looks the same, but this guy's doing something completely different.
This guy knows his craft. The first digger driver that came down pretty much just dug straight down here and then into the bush in pretty much a straight line, and as a result it made the gradient really steep to the point that I couldn't even walk up and down it. After a while, when that first guy was kind of digging around here, I realised it just wasn't working, and I couldn't explain to him how to take the gradient out. It was kind of difficult to visualise it. And so I phoned up the owner of the company, and he said, "Don't worry, I'll come and sort it out." And I'm so glad he did. This guy's got like 20 years of experience, and the minute he got in that thing, he had the same conditions. He just put in a few little curves, and it took out all the gradient. And now it's gone from being something that doesn't work to something that's just completely amazing. So we've had a few hot days that should have dried out that track a bit, and now I'm going to test it out and see if it works. So what I want to test out is, can I go down onto that lower bit of land, cut some wood and bring it back up here? Let's find out.
This experiment is about more than just collecting firewood. Ever since we bought the land, this bush section has been my favourite part. You feel removed from the rest of the world down here, away from the traffic and people. It's just you and the birds. You're even cut off from the weather. Maybe it's because humans evolved to live in forests. All I know is I like being down here, and the pathway is my route to spend more time here. Maybe one day we'll move down here to live full time.
This tree fell some time ago, and if it just sits on the floor, it'll go rotten and it won't be useful for anything. So I'm going to chop a couple of bits up just as a test, chuck it in the wheelbarrow, see if I can get it up the top. It's not easy, but it's very doable. Well, that worked. It's pretty tiring, but it worked. I'm kind of more interested in getting things in a lot of ways than I am in getting stuff out, because I'm eventually going to build a cabin down there. So if any of you have got any advice on things like gorilla carts, wheelbarrows, ATVs, whatever, let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. See you next week.